From KAMR Local 4 News, your local election headquarters, this is Politics Today.
WT is building on to their future in the agriculture industry, the groundbreaking they just hosted, and how it'll impact our area and future students. And a penny for your thoughts will cost 4 cents. How the end of the penny production will impact area businesses. The country's longest shutdown has ended, but that doesn't mean things across the country go back to normal instantly. Thank you for joining us this morning. I'm Mari Farrell. President Trump signed the short-term funding bill Wednesday night. The bill has 3 annual spending bills and extends funding to the rest of the government until the end of January. It also reverses the firing of federal workers since the shutdown began and guarantees they will get back pay. Not in these bills extending health care subsidies. The House Speaker said a vote on that will come in December, but there is little to no guarantee it'll pass. But just because the shutdown ended, it doesn't mean services resumed instantly. States, including Texas, are scrambling to pay full November benefits. Texans should have received the rest of their allotment in the past few days. Some may see them starting tomorrow and into next week. The USDA told states Thursday to issue full November allotments. The funding bill signed will fund SNAP through September. Feeding Texas says this is a reminder that a lot of Texans are one unexpected emergency or missed paycheck away from needing help. New Mexico lawmakers passed House Bill 1 earlier this week. It approves up to $20 million per week to provide SNAP benefits to nearly 500,000 people who receive them. The acting governor signed that legislation. It provides funding through January 19th. No word on how or if the government reopening impacts these numbers. West Texas A&M University broke ground on a $15 million feedlot and educational complex facility in Canyon this past week. Politics Today's Maya Clark has details on how the facility is set to provide state-of-the-art education for students benefiting the Panhandle and the world.
WT officials say the feedlot and educational complex has been in the works for years and came to a culmination in 2024 after the university received a land legacy gift of 42.84 acres from Mike and Gary Coleman.
Congressman Jackson has been very instrumental in a $2.1 million commitment. Now we're expecting another $1 million this next session. There's a good amount of private donations that are supporting this.
Dean of the Paul Engler College of Agriculture and Natural Sciences, Dr. Kevin Pond, says the facility will have about 25 students be employed, in addition to students coming for class.
We'll be able to train students and staff. We'll be able to find results for industry that will be utilized in the feedlot, so we'll be improving the efficiency of cattle and the efficiency of the beef that are going to be sold.
Pond says he hopes that by having this educational opportunity for the region, it will create a stronger and better trained workforce.
We also hope that it'll make the feedlot industry more sustainable because we're going to be doing things with water and other things that will help all feed yards.
Pond shared that there will be cameras in the feed yard that help with the education aspect of the facility.
You can see exactly the way that animals behave and how we move them through the facility. In the other areas around on the pens, we'll be using technologies to determine which animals might be sick so that they can be identified as needing attention and find out what's wrong with them and treat them if necessary.
Maya, thank you. Wendler shared it's going to be a few years before the feedlot and educational complex is up and running, but they are moving forward with great determination. Adding that WT is working to highlight the importance and impact the university's agricultural education is having on the Texas Panhandle. The land for the feedlot and educational complex is located by WT's Nance Ranch. Additional donors making the facility a reality are the Engler Foundation and Champion Feeders. To learn more about the facility and how it was made possible, head over to our website at myhighplains.com. U.S. Representative Ronnie Jackson is celebrating some agriculture wins with the bill to reopen the government. In the Appropriations and Extensions Act, Jackson says $1.4 million will go to the Canyon Fire Department. This is to upgrade their firehouse and help with training. He also says $1 million goes to WT's feedlot educational training facility, which is what we just learned about. And another $2 million goes to WT for a mobile desalination unit. Staying at WT, we're getting more information about the trial involving WT and their canceling of a drag show. A tentative trial date is set for mid-January in U.S. District Court with Judge Matthew Kacsmaryk. This is on the top of the Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals vacating their 3-judge panel's decision, and will hear oral arguments in front of all 17 judges shortly after the trial in Amarillo. WT banned a drag show for charity in 2023. A lawsuit was filed. Judge Kacsmaryk sided with the university. That was appealed, with the appeals court ruling in August it likely would have violated the students' First Amendment rights. Amarillo College announces the resignation of one of their vice presidents who was on administrative leave during a pending investigation. Officials say their vice president of business affairs was put on leave October 3rd. The investigation was related to financial procedures. AC says they initiated an independent audit immediately. And they add the college's finances are stable and that the issue has no impact on AC's mission or growth. A former judge in Hereford is reprimanded for several alleged incidents, including failure to do her job without bias. In August, the State Commission on Judicial Conduct wrote Judge Jennifer Egan should be admonished for allowing her relationship with influential community members to influence her conduct, also failing to be patient, dignified, and courteous toward defendants, and mistreating Hispanics, low-income, and undocumented defendants. In her written response to the commission, she told them she had retired and later denied any misconduct. Texas Senator John Cornyn released a statement following the passing of his Stop the Screwworms with Active Readiness and Mitigation, or SWARM Act, through the Senate on Monday night. This act requires the USDA to present details to Congress on the readiness and response initiatives that has and will implement to combat the New World screwworm. Cornyn said agriculture and cattle communities in Texas deserve the best protection possible. Friday, the USDA announced the opening of a sterile fly dispersal facility in Tampico, Mexico. Officials say this facility will allow the USDA to disperse the sterile flies aerially across northeastern Mexico. The Ag Secretary says stopping the spread of the screwworm is a Trump administration top priority. The USDA says they're releasing 100 million sterile flies per week in Mexico, but this facility allows them to also release them aerially. Inspired by a recent Potter County Commissioners meeting, there will be a new candidate for Potter County Judge. Michelle Eggleston announces she intends to run for that position after current Judge Nancy Tanner announced she wasn't running again. Eggleston's press release notes she watched a recent commissioners meeting and thought the county needed a leader to step up and make plans to adapt to how the county is changing. U.S. Representative Jody Arrington announced his retirement after nearly a decade in Congress, citing major accomplishments like leading the House Budget Committee and passing key spending bills. With the seat opening, Lubbock County GOP Chair David Bruegel says several local names are already being floated, setting the stage for a competitive primary ahead of the December 8th filing deadline.
It was obviously a decision I bathed in prayer and had long, hard conversations with my family.
Representative Jody Arrington started his journey in Congress back in 2017, and now his time in the chair is coming to an end.
I never entered this job thinking it would be long-term.
Arrington's retirement announcement comes just after President Trump's endorsement for him. But he says with all of his accomplishments, including work on farm bills, his time as chair of the House Budget Committee, and carrying the president's spending bill into law, he feels he's reached a good stopping point.
The big, beautiful bill was monumental. Really, it has generational implications for our military, who received the largest investment ever, for working families who got the biggest tax cut in American history. So I feel like that's a great place to leave this, with the president resourced and equipped through the policies that were in the big, beautiful bill.
So with the chair being empty soon, the question is, who's next to fill it? Lubbock County Republican Chairman David Brugel says a number of names have been thrown around.
I've received several phone calls in the last few hours, possibly Ashley Cash from here in Lubbock. Commissioner Jason Corley from Lubbock County has expressed some interest. And then you never know. I've heard that multiple city council members may be interested.
Nothing is confirmed yet. Candidates have until December 8th to file their candidacy. But Brugel says one thing's for sure. There will likely be a competitive primary race.
Voters need to be aware of is there are going to likely be a lot of choices in this race. And I would recommend that everyone wait a minute, let's see who gets in the race.
Arrington's district is mostly in the Lubbock viewing area, but he does cover areas near the High Plains, including areas like Farwell, Friona, Castro, and Swisher County. Worth Every Penny will take on a new meaning in the U.S., why the government stopped the making of the penny and how that'll impact you and your area businesses. An Amarillo-based company has acquired the Courtyard by Marriott downtown Amarillo location. Camp Hotels is an Amarillo-based company with 6 hotels in the Amarillo and Lubbock area. The company wrote, "The Fisk Building tells the story of Amarillo's past while shaping the city's future." The company adds that visitors spent more than $1 billion in our community in 2023, so they're happy to be part of the experience for those coming in and from out of town. A person from our area will serve on the state's Pediatric Acute Onset Neuropsychiatric Syndrome Advisory Council. Texas Governor Greg Abbott appointed 14 people, including Melissa Smith from Bushland. Smith is a school health specialist for the Region 16 Education Service Center. She's also a member of the Texas School Nurses Organization, among other roles. This term expires in August 2027. The penny has been part of American life for generations, but now the U.S. Mint is officially ending production. Politics Today's Blas Guerrero has more details on why the coin is being phased out and what this change could mean for consumers. He joins us in studio.
Mari, the country's smallest coin is taking its big step yet towards retirement. The U.S. Mint has stopped producing pennies for circulation, closing the book on more than 2 centuries of nonstop manufacturing. Officials from the U.S. Treasury say the decision comes down to cost. Making a single penny now requires about 4 cents of material and labor, meaning taxpayers will lose money every time one is made. Ending production is expected to save tens of millions of dollars each year. For comparison, it costs less than 6 cents to make a dime, and about 15 cents to make a quarter, and nearly 34 cents to make a half a dollar. Today, Amarillo National Bank released a statement saying, quote, "Pennies are still accepted, but financial institutions will no longer be able to order them from the Fed. Retailers may begin rounding prices up or down to the nearest nickel or dime or accommodate the lack of pennies," end quote. Officials with Amarillo National Bank say once the blanks are now gone, the Federal Reserve will no longer supply pennies to financial institutions. Officials add that means no penny stamped with 2028 will ever exist. In the studio, Blas Guerrero, KMR Local 4 News. Mari.
Blas, thank you. Pennies will still be everywhere. It will still be accepted everywhere, but stores may start rounding cash purchases up or down to the nearest nickel or dime as the supply slowly shrinks. Big things are set to happen in Borger, the distinction they just received, and how it'll impact the look and reputation of the city. And Clovis is racing to boost their city's economy. How they're moving that process along. Politics Today returns after this. Killeen and Borger are being designated as the newest official Texas Main Street cities, which will help with downtown revitalization in both cities. Politics Today's Jack Kessler has more on what this means for both towns.
This designation came from the Texas Historical Commission. It connects these 2 cities to a statewide network focused on preserving local character while catalyzing economic growth. Now, beginning on January 1st, both cities will join 80 Texas communities who the THC says is already committed to breathing a new life into their historic downtowns. Nicole Chavez, the Dome Civic and Convention Center and Main Street coordinator for Borger, says you won't see big changes right away, but it is going to help the city greatly.
Like I said, this access into this program will help us with funding. There's certain funds that are set aside for Texas Main Street cities. It'll help us with just expertise in technical assistance, trainings, and like I said, the network. The network's invaluable. You're getting to connect and learn from so many different cities and towns across the state.
Now, both cities earned this designation after successfully participating in the First Street Initiative, which helped communities prepare for full Main Street status. Now, Borger will be joining other High Plain communities like Amarillo and Canyon, who are official Texas Main Street cities. In studio, Jack Esser, KMR Local 4 News.
Jack, thank you. The commission adds that since its launch in 1981, the Texas Main Street program has helped 177 communities. They've helped generate more than $6.5 billion in reinvestment while creating over 50,000 jobs and 12,000 small businesses. The city of Clovis receives more than $47,000 to help their animal shelter. Officials say they'll have reduced adoption fees, reduced spay-neuter surgeries, microchipping, and vaccinations for animals adopted through the shelter. They hope to reduce euthanasia numbers, increase animal welfare, and find homes for more pets. The Clovis City Commission and mayor pushed new support for horse racing to come to their city. The mayor shared a letter they sent to the New Mexico Racing Commission. They're supporting an application to bring the business from Farmington to Clovis. The mayor cites this project aligns with their goals of economic growth, job creation, and enhancing local entertainment options. We recently reported on the proposed move of this project, which you can see over on our website, myhighplains.com. From typewriters to computers and decades of knowledge to share with others, we'll introduce you to the person who has worked at the Amarillo Police Department for the longest amount of time. The Amarillo Police Department is saying goodbye to a familiar face who has been part of the department longer than anyone else in the city's history. Politics Today's Blas Guerrero brings us her legacy as she steps into retirement.
For 52 years, Rosemary Robinson has been a steady presence inside APD's Covert and Tactical Operations Unit, supporting officers, helping investigations move forward, and keeping the department running behind the scenes. She first joined the city of Amarillo in 1973 at 21 years old and would never imagine this job would become her lifelong career.
I'd done an internship with the city during college, so I just took that as a full-time job. And it was at the library, and they did away with that job because they were building new libraries. So this job was available, so I applied for it. Because at that age, you're basically wanting your benefits.
Over the decades, Robinson adapted through every major shift in technology, from typewriters and carbon paper to computers and digital systems. Throughout it all, she became a trusted go-to for generations of officers.
Thinking a lot about that, Rosemary was here roughly 15 years before I ever started. So, and I've been here for a while now. So it's hard to wrap your mind around. And if you noticed in there, about 15 or 20 of our retirees are there from various stages of the police department. She's just been the one there through everybody's journey.
Johnson says Robinson brought a positive attitude to work every day, no matter the challenge.
I just think if people can find a job that they're passionate about, they may want to stay there. People leave for a lot of reasons, pay and everything like that. But if you find a job you're passionate about and you feel like you feel that it's appreciated and valued, then I never felt the need to leave.
Blas, thank you. Even in retirement, Robinson says she will miss the department and that she's grateful for the lifelong friendships and memories that came with 52 years of service. In retirement, Robinson plans to stay active in volunteer work and spend more time with her cat, Callie. She says adjusting to a new routine will be a challenge, but after 5 decades, she's ready for the next chapter. We'll wrap up Politics Today after this. The Cops for CASA program helps make sure kids in the foster care system have gifts to open while they are separated from their families. Let's talk about what's happening this holiday season. The community was helping these kids have a Merry Christmas by donating gift certificates, gift cards, or brand new items for kids of all ages. Every single donation stays local and helps a child that the Amarillo area CASA serves.
A lot of these children have been removed from their homes. Some are in foster care. A lot of them, when they were removed, all they had was a trash bag full of their, a couple of days' clothes and maybe their favorite toy or blanket. And so they don't have a lot to call their own yet. And giving them a Christmas present that's just theirs, that they get, means a lot to these kids.
CASA works all year long to make sure each foster child has a skilled volunteer advocate who represents their best interest. While they're not collecting donations anymore, there's still plenty of ways to help Amarillo area CASA and the children that they serve. We got those details and other political news over on our website, myhighplains.com. We have that at the local, state, and national level. Have a great rest of your Sunday. We'll see you back here next week.